All right, YouTube, just another cancer update on how things are going. Shooting, this is my bedroom, the other side. Usually where I used to shoot YouTube videos, it's still all set up. I do occasionally, it just takes longer to set up than just shooting on my phone, which I think is crooked right now. There we go. So I just got done collecting my stem cells, had my stem cells collected. So that was the course of this last week. So once I got out of chemotherapy this last time, which was last Wednesday, right? Wednesday or Tuesday? Tuesday I got done. Came home on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I had to start going in and getting my labs drawn every day, which Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I could do it locally here. Well, the next town over, it was only like a 15-minute drive. Because they didn't assume those first days I would have to, I had my counts would be high enough for them to collect stem cells, but they still wanted to have everything checked every day. Then starting on Monday, I had to drive to Grand Rapids where I'm having my stem cell transplant, which is like 40-minute drive. So I had to go there every morning at 7 in the morning, have my labs drawn, and then sit there and wait for the numbers to come back, which the first day took 3 hours, I think it was. I had to sit there and wait. After that, it was I get there at 7, about 9:30 or so I'd leave. So I was there for, like 2.5 hours each day. Finally so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was Thursday. What's today? It's hard to keep track of days. Today's Saturday. So Thursday, right? Thursday, Friday. Yeah. Thursday was the first day where they saw my numbers were high enough where they could collect. So each day going in there, if my numbers were high enough, I'd have to stay all day. So I was packing a lunch and bringing snacks with me because I didn't know if I was going to be there, get there at 7 in the morning and have to stay till like 5 o'clock at night. But Thursday was the first day where my numbers were high enough to collect. So, get there at 7 and Gideon's down here. He's shaking the bed. Then I have my camera on a little stand. Okay, why don't you come over here? You could be in the background. There you go. Okay. So yeah, Thursday my numbers were high enough to get it collected, which I'll probably put in the video here. I think I have some little footage of it. I didn't film a lot. I was gonna do this video while it was being collected, but I didn't realize I'm just in like a little room with the machine that, I have, which you can't see, maybe I'll show you. So I have these lines in me right here. I think I might've shown it in a previous video. So I have these lines in here. They attach one line, pulls the blood out, runs through a machine, it separates it, pulls out the stem cells or however it works, and then the line goes back in and puts the blood back in. So they do that for I go in, get my labs done, and then they take me into the room, have me sit there for 6 hours in like a chair, and basically I have to sit there. I can't move, I can get up and stand up, but I can't leave the room or anything because I'm hooked up to this machine. So sit there for 6 hours. 6 hours getting it taken out. Then, then they unhook me, do some labs. I gotta wait for the labs to come back. So the first day I got there at 7, I didn't get to leave till 4:45. And then the next, then they called me later on that night and are like, they needed like 5 to 6 million stem cells. They only got like 4 million. So I had to come back the next day and do the whole process over again, which I thought was gonna be a shorter day. I thought that's what they told me. Like, oh, we probably won't need to have you stay as long, but they did the full 6 hours. And then after the 6 hours, I had to stay. This time they wanted me not just to stay for my labs to come back, they wanted me to wait for the actual stem cell count to come back. So I had to wait another 2 hours. So I was there till 4:30 again. So it was long days. And that whole week prior to that, where I'm going to get my labs taken every day to see if my numbers are high enough, I had to give myself injections every morning, 2 shots into my stomach, which it wasn't bad at first, but as the week went on, because I'd rotate sides that I'm giving my shot in. Some days, I guess it just depends on the angle I'm getting the needle in. Some days the needle will go in nice. I'm like, oh, I don't feel anything until I'm like injecting it, then it hurt a little bit. Other days it hurt putting the needle in, so I'm glad that's over. And apparently those injections just make your bones ache. So they recommend you take a Claritin every day. That helps. So I didn't deal with the bone aches because that Claritin really helps with it. Just, even though it says now I'm drowsy, I was tired all week. So I'm glad all that's over. all the stem cells are collected. I now go in, today's Saturday, Monday I go in to get these taken out, which I'm glad, because it's just a pain taking a shower because I have to cover it. So basically I have press and seal, the not saran wrap, but kind of like that, the press and seal wrap they told me to use. So I put that over it, then which kind of sticks to your skin, but still I put like tape around the sides, and it's just a pain in the butt to take a shower with that. So it'd be nice to have that done. So that'll come out on Monday. I go in for my stem cell transplant on the 19th. The 18th, I go in to get a PICC line put in my arm. So instead of using this one in for the stem cell transplant, they'll put a PICC line in my arm. So I get that on the 18th, come home, go back on the 19th, get admitted. They'll do the chemotherapy on the 19th. It said it's only like 30 minutes, but it's super strong. So I'm not looking forward to that. And then the 20th is when they'll come in and do the stem cell transplant, put the stem cells back into me, and then I'm there for like the next 2 weeks or so. We'll see. I think they said, I don't know, day like 10 or 11 is where my numbers drop so low. That's where chance of infection and stuff is really high. So, but of course I'm in the hospital. They'll have me on antibiotics and stuff. So hopefully things go well. So that's one of the risks, is infection. Another with this chemotherapy, I guess, is mouth sores. I haven't dealt with it with any of my other chemotherapy, but I guess this chemotherapy is a lot stronger. Like obviously I shave my head because the sides, my hair doesn't grow. Like this is perfectly smooth. Like I still get hair growth up here, but it would look kind of strange with bald sides and stuff. I just decided to keep it shaved. But they said any remaining hair will probably go with this chemotherapy. I don't know if that means my arm hair and leg hair. I don't know. My eyebrows are already super thin, so not a big deal. But the mouth sores is the biggest thing. So they want me to, after I get the chemotherapy, eat ice chips. And I literally told the doctor, he's like, "So have you been having any side effects?" I'm like, well, my biggest side effect is I have sensitive teeth. Like I can't eat anything cold. Like a banana hurts my teeth. If I eat a banana, like my bananas are, room temperature, like everyone keeps, so I don't put them in the fridge. And I have to like smush it against the top of my mouth just to mush it up so I can swallow it and try to keep it off my teeth because it hurts. So I don't know how the heck I'm gonna eat ice chips. I'm gonna have to buy some Sensodyne toothpaste and see if it helps. I don't know if it's gonna. And then I guess they do some laser red light therapy, like 4 times a day. They put this red light therapy in your mouth. That's supposed to help with the mouth sores too. So I'll keep you guys updated on that when I'm in the hospital as I'm going through this stuff and tell you how it is. So that's what's going on with that. 19th, I go in and get admitted. And with that, at the 19th, when I actually get admitted, because through this whole process, I don't know if I've mentioned it, I've applied for disability because I can't work, obviously, and I'm gonna be in the hospital for however long, and then after that, pretty much for a year, I have to be super careful. I can't really do a whole lot. I'm not even supposed to let you sleep in my bed. I don't know why. I think they're afraid you're gonna scratch me, which you don't. Clearly, you don't scratch, so I'll have to get more confirmation on that, why they think I'm gonna pick something up from you. I'll have to tell him he does rub his face all over me. So yeah, I've been applying for disability for this whole time because I haven't been making money for the longest time. I make next to nothing off YouTube anymore. I make maybe $250 to $300 a month, which isn't enough to even pay bills. I mean, clearly, or do anything with. So I've applied for disability back in February. I applied for it and been waiting, and they're like, usually when you have leukemia, it goes through really fast. I'm like, okay, I was thinking April I'd probably see it. Yet to see it. I called my caseworker, I think it was 2 weeks ago, to find out what's going on. And basically, she said if she filed it right now, they would deny me, which I don't get. I mean, she's like, until you actually get admitted for the stem cell transplant, she can't, she's not going to submit it. Once I get admitted for my stem cell transplant, it's an automatic approval, but they can't do it until I actually get admitted for it. Like we've known for months I'm getting this transplant. Like it's not, we just didn't know the actual date. So that's kind of weird. So then I don't know. At least I get back pay for, I guess, from the time I filed. I don't know how much I get a month, but at least it'll be enough. Because right now I'm like looking at stuff that I'm going to sell to even make rent this month. Because the 300 isn't going to pay rent. So I'm probably, you can't see it. There's one there, and there's another one behind Gideon. I have 3 cameras. I don't film in here enough to justify it. And whether I film in here versus, I know the audio clearly with this microphone is really expensive and everything. It looks better, it sounds better, but my views don't go up. So does it justify keeping all that? Where if I sell it, you know, I mean, one of those cameras will pay my half a rent. I mean, hopefully. That's why that is always on the floor, because you knock it off there. So I don't know. I'll see if I'm gonna sell that stuff before I go into the hospital or not. So yeah, that'll be good if I can finally get approved for that. The only issue with it is that I've been trying to figure out the numbers is I'm on Medicaid right now, which is great because it pays for everything. Like my insurance bills cost would be I mean, there's some of the medications I take for a bottle of pills is $700 alone just for the pills I'm taking for just one of the freaking 6 or 7 pills I have to take a day, let alone all the hospital stays, the stem cell transplant. There's no way I can afford it, but so I get Medicaid, but I can't make over, I think it's 110% of the poverty level. So, and I think the poverty level in Michigan, from what I've researched, Googling it, is like a little over 15,000. So I think 110% of that is, God, I don't know. It's maybe about 20,000, I think. I can't make, if I make, when I first applied for disability, the lady's like, you can't make over the 15,000. But when I look it up, it says you can't make 110% of it. So is it the 15,000 or is it like the 20,000? Because it's a big difference. So if my disability put me over that, they would cancel my Medicaid. So it's either I can't make any money or I have insurance. Because if I got disability and it put me over the limit of Medicaid and they cancel my Medicaid, disability isn't going to pay me enough barely to pay my bills, let alone how am I going to pay medical bills on that? So it's so crazy that they make it so low. Like there should be, I don't know. I would think there would be some sort of, what's the word? Like accommodation for, okay, it's one thing if you're not working and stuff out of choice and you're on Medicaid, but where you have a disease that's keeping you from working, where you literally can't work. I mean, I can't even now, like my last PET scan, they showed the cancer is pretty much gone in my body. The tumors in my back are gone, but I still like even when I'm hot, I don't know if you notice, and I'm short of breath. Like if I'm out there like doing dishes or anything, like I can't stand very long because that showed on the x-ray they did in my back that I have hairline fractures of vertebrae in the lower back, and some of the vertebrae are compressed. I think that's why it hurts when I stand I can walk distances now a lot more than I could have back in January when this all started, but I can't be on my feet for very long and I get winded pretty quick, probably because I'm out of shape, but it's hard to get in shape because I can't do a whole lot to get in shape. So how the heck am I gonna work? I mean, even sitting in the chair for a long period of time is uncomfortable unless I'm like in a recliner. But with that being said, I can't do any of that for at least a year. And then because a year after the stem cell transplant, I got to be really careful what I do. And we have no idea how long the stem cell transplant is going to work for me. How long am I going to stay in remission? You know, some people have it and last, 10, 20 years, where my doctor said the average is 12 to 18 months. Well, shoot, it takes me a year to recover, and then all of a sudden the cancer's back, then I got to do it again. So we'll have to wait and see. So the point of it was just crazy that I can get disability, but just barely enough to make ends meet. And in order to keep my Medicaid, that's why I probably haven't been posting that much on YouTube. And that's why like this stuff is like, because I can't have my YouTube take off. Not that it will anyways, because I've been doing it for however many 8 years or whatever, and it hasn't really done much. I'm happy for everything it's done, for the subscribers I have, but it hasn't blown up like other people's channels. To where if it did and I started making a decent, say instead of $300 a month, if I was making $1,000 a month, plus my disability, well then there goes my insurance. My insurance would be gone. I wouldn't be making enough to pay any of these medical bills, so it's just crazy. Anyway, that's where that whole nonsense lies too. So we'll see what goes on with that when I find out how much I'm actually getting. Hopefully it just keeps me under the amount that I don't lose my Medicaid. And like I said, that's about it for now. I get this out on Monday, and then I get, okay, you're gonna start shaking the bed again. A week off or so before I get admitted. And then once I get admitted and go through that initial chemo and they put the stem cells in, depending on how I feel one of those days after that, I'll do an update video and let you know how that whole process went and how I'm feeling at that time. So thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up my ranting and raving here. And it's Gideon's shaking the camera because he's down here. And I will talk to you all very soon. Thank you for all the kind words you've said in the comments, for those of you who have. And like I said, hopefully this whole transplant goes well and I'm in remission for a long period of time. That's my goal. I mean, obviously this is the scary time too, because now it's like, okay, we're at that point where we're gonna do this transplant, and then that's when we find out exactly how long I have left, because we don't know how long I'm gonna be in remission. Obviously the shorter I'm in remission, the worse it's gonna be for me. The longer, the better, because they took enough stem cells to do 2 transplants. So, and they said the first transplant, the period of time you're in remission versus the second time will be about half that. So if I'm only in remission for a year and then they do this transplant again, well then the next one will be 6 months. And then I don't know what happens after that. If there's nothing more they can do, or I guess we will cross that bridge when we get there. All right. Thank you for watching these videos. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you can, and I'll talk to you all very soon.